What's going on, guys? Nightflux here, and I am bringing you a very special deck profile today. This is going to be the Granblue budget deck profile. My friend challenged me. Why I did a Granblue deck? My friend challenged me. He says, "I want to see you build a budget deck that you would take the locals to try to top that week, and you think is good, and do it with a deck that is not a mainstream deck, like mainstream being Gold Paladin, Narcon, whatever like that. Do it with one of the lesser known decks." So I chose Granblue, and I've playtested this deck extensively, and this is a very, very explosive deck. This is a superior ride Granblue budget deck, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the deck, and then I'm going to explain, go in depth, and show you how this deck is a very explosive and amazing deck. When I say explosive, you can have your opponent, if you take first turn, you can get your grade. This is a superior ride deck. You only run 4 grade 3s. I know you're thinking 4 grade 3s, that's not enough. You'll never be able to do anything. Relax. I'm going to show you exactly how to play this deck where you can superior ride guaranteed to grade 3 every time you ride your grade 2. And the way we do that is I'm going to explain to you. I'll show you all the cards you need first, and we'll go into that. But when I was playtesting this, I could get on my turn, when I superior ride it, I get my opponent to 4 or 5 damage before they even got their grade 3 out, and it just devastates them because they have to drop their whole hand to guard or just take the damage. So let's just go over the deck list quickly, and then we're going to go into the in-depth profile of the budget build. And if you wanted to make it slightly better with more cards, like make it a little more expensive, you can make it even better. I'll show you how to do that as well. But this deck cost me about between $20 and $30, I want to say. And it's great. I'm actually going to take this to locals. I've topped 2 weeks in a row with Spike Brothers. I got first place last week and 8th place the week before that. But all right, so let's get started. We are starting with Captain Nightkid. You're going to use his ability if you need to get your superior ride out. I'll explain that in a second. So this is our starter, Captain Nightkid. All right, and we do run 4 of the heal triggers because heal triggers are important in the game. One heal trigger can change the game, as you guys already know. We are running 2. We're running 9 criticals total. 2 5K criticals. 3 of these Rough Sea Banshees, which their effect is basically put it into soul and you can draw a card, so you can use that to superior ride. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And then we are running 4 of the Night Spirits, which is critical to our superior ride as well also. For the finish up the triggers, we are running 3 of the Hades Steermasters, and they have an effect which we're going to talk about as well that goes into our combo. And we are running 4 Chappie the Ghosty. That's right, we are running 21 grade 0s. You're thinking, oh my gosh, how do you even get cards out with that? With this deck, the main point is to not have a grade 3 in hand. If you have a grade 3 in your hand, mulligan that shit. Get rid of it. You do not want a grade 3 in your hand, period. What Chappie the Ghosty does is when you use it to guard, when it goes from the guard circle to the drop zone, pick any card in your deck, which is going to be one of your grade 3s, get it in your drop zone. How you superior ride with this deck is you have your grade 3 in the drop zone and you superior ride it from your drop zone. Basically, this deck turns your drop zone into a toolbox. All the tools you need are in the drop zone is no longer off limits. The drop zone is your toolbox. You want cards in the drop zone to utilize them. Get to our grade 1 lineups. We'll get a little more in depth in a second. We run 4 Samurai Spirits. He is part of our superior ride as well. Basically, this deck gives you options. No matter what happens, you have an option to counter your opponent. 2 Dancing Cutlasses. Basically, when you call them to a rear guard circle, you Soul Blast 2, draw a card. So just a little extra draw engine. He's a 5K. Deadly Nightmare, 4 of these as well. Deadly Nightmare, you can activate him from the drop zone and get him out into the field if you needed a better booster. 2 Vanilla 8K, Dandy Guy Romarios. We have 2 Undead Pirate of Fright Knight. Basically, he's an 8K, grade 2. And his effect is that if you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, which you usually do when you superior ride right away, you get plus 3K. So he turns into an 11K beater if you have less cards in your hand. We are running 3 copies of the 10K Interceptor. He is the Skeletal Swordsman, 3 copies of him. We are running Deadly Spirit. We're running 4 of those, 9K, grade 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are running 4 Skeletal Demon World Knights. These are for the Ice Necromancer superior ride, 2, 3, 4 of those. And we have our 4 grade 3s like I talked about. We have our Deadly Swordsman. We have our Spirit Exceed. We have our Ice Prison Necromancer, Coitus, whatever you want to call him. And we have our Monster Frank. Alright, so now let's get into how to utilize this deck correctly and get your superior ride off. So we'll take our grade 3s. I'm going to show you the combos you need to get these cards out. Let me pull out some key cards really quick just so I can show you how this deck works. 1 second. Here, 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 and here. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to start with our lowest superior ride ability. This is basically Monster Frank. He is our last resort ride. He is out of the 4 grade 3s we have. He is the one we want to ride least. Basically, how you get him out, you get him into the drop zone. From the drop zone, counterblast 3 to superior ride him if you have a grade 2 Vanguard. That's if you take a lot of heavy damage at the beginning. I wouldn't recommend taking that much damage at the beginning, but he is an option, like I said before. Now you're wondering, before we get any further, how do I get my grade 3s into the drop zone to superior ride? Well, we have 2 options for that. We have our starting Vanguard. Starting Vanguard, put him to Soul, counterblast 1, search the top 10 cards from your deck, pick a card from among them, put it in your drop zone. Basically, if you didn't get Chappie the Ghosty out, which is the card I showed you before, Chappie the Ghosty, this is actually a better tool to use. So if you get one of these in your opening hand, you want to hang on to it. This is search the top 10 cards, put a card in your drop zone. So if you get your grade 3 in the top 10, great. This is better. This is preferred. Basically, use him to guard, blocks the damage, and when he goes from the guard circle to the drop zone, any card from your deck. So whatever kind of hand setup you had, that's how you get your grade 3s in the graveyard. So we went over Monster Frank, how to use Monster Frank, get him out. He's the lowest priority. Sorry, that is my phone going off. Sorry about that. Our next grade 3 we want to talk about is our Spirit Exceed. He's a vanilla 10k Vanguard, grade 3. Basically, how you get him out is you need to get out your Night Spirit and your Samurai Spirit. So that would be Night Spirit is one of our critical triggers right here. So if you happen to pull one of him out, you could use him. And where is he? Right here. Deadly Spirit right here. Let's make sure I got that right. Sorry, Samurai Spirit. Oh, Samurai Spirit and Night Spirit. Sorry about that. Samurai Spirit is, I didn't pull him out actually. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Samurai Spirit and Night Spirit. That is how we superior ride him. Basically, if you have these 2 out on the field, and you have your Spirit Exceed in your drop zone, retire these 2 units, superior ride to grade 3, just like that. So that's a possibility. So if you have these in your opening hand, that is a great way to set it up with Night Kid or with Chappie the Ghosty. So he would be our probably our second. No, he would be in our top 2 priority to who to ride to. The top 2, depending on the situation, would be these 2. Let's go over Deadly Swordmaster first. I would consider him number 1 if you're taking first turn. Like I said, Deadly Swordmaster. To get him out, you need to have a Deadly Spirit and a Deadly Nightmare, I believe. Let me double check that real quick. Deadly Spirit and Deadly Nightmare. Yes, basically same way as the other one. Have these 2 cards out in the field. If you have them in your opening hand, basically retire those, superior ride to grade 3. He is an 11k, so you can hit for that. If you have an 11k out, like I said before, if you take first turn, you superior ride him and get a booster behind him, you could be hitting for 3 stages and he's still at his grade 1. So you're hitting, he has to do 3 cards just to guard that, or he's taking damage, and not to mention all the criticals we run, that's how you get massive damage. This is like a rush down, get as much damage as you can before they get their field set up or their hand set up at all. So he is priority 1 grade. I'd ride him first. Also, what I didn't mention, with our stand triggers, if this card is in the graveyard and you get a grade 3 out, as soon as you get a grade 3 in your Vanguard, you can call him right behind the Vanguard. So he's a 3k booster. It's not important that he's a 3k booster. What's important is that if you already have your grade 3 in your graveyard and you want to use Chappie the Ghosty, you want to get one of these Samurai Spirits in your graveyard. Basically, what the Samurai Spirit does, he's a grade 1 7k booster, and all you do, you counterblast 1, choose one of your Granblue rear guards and retire it and replace him over it. So basically, counterblast 1, he comes out with your grade 3, retire him, put a 7k behind it, that's 18k. If they're grade 1, 8k, they have to guard for 3 stages. 3 stages means, if you don't know what stages means when I'm talking about guarding, a stage 1 guard would be a 5k shield, stage 2 would be 10k, and up from there. So basically you hit it for 3 stages and they're still in grade 1, and they're sitting there trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Because first of all, Granblue, people don't play Granblue decks. I don't know why. After I built this deck and tested it out, I was like, I can't believe more people aren't playing Granblue. It's a cheap deck to build, and it's so effective. Okay, next. Sorry, I got a little excited. Next is our What is this? Ice Prison Necromancer Coctus, Coictus, whatever you want to call him. Sorry for mispronouncing it. Basically, you want to ride him if you go second, because this is how you get to him. You have him as your vanguard. You have the Skeletal Demon World Knight, and basically what his effect is it states that choose a Granblue from your hand and discard it. At the beginning of your ride phase, if your opponent has a grade 3 or greater vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a card named Ice Prisoner Necromancer Coictus from your drop zone and ride it. So, basically, that's how you get him out. If he's in your drop zone, ride that card. And that's how you get him out. And he's basically a Garmore clone. Where did I put him? Okay. He's basically a Garmore clone. His limit break is he gets plus 5,000 if you're at 4 damage, and he is a 10k Vanguard. Also, one of his effects is as soon as he's called on the field, Counterblast 2, get another card from your drop zone. So if you had another grade 3 or 11k you wanted to get him out, or if you had any kind of optimal play that you wanted to make, that's how you could do it with that. So that about covers, make sure I got everything here. And like I said, how to get your grade 3s in the graveyard, you just want to use your Chappie the Ghosty, preferably, or Captain Night Kid at, like, if you have a pretty good hand setup, like, you want to use him. But you want to try to get one of these in your opening hand if possible. So, that is the Grandblue budget deck. This deck can be built for about $20 to $30, like I stated before. It's a great competitive deck. I'm going to take this look. I play tested. I played about 15 games with this deck. Games meaning 3 games per match. So 15 matches with this deck, and you can completely overpower your opponent. It's insane. How to make this deck better? Obviously, perfect guards. Because I don't have the perfect guards for this. What I did was I added 2 of the 10k interceptors, and then 2 of the 8k vanillas. So basically, if you want to put perfect guards in, or take those 4 cards out and add the perfect guards. Also, a great card to add to this deck is Runeshade, because he is an amazing Granblue card. All you Granblue players know that. Basically, what I added for him is basically you drop these 2 cards, Undead Pirate of Fright Knight, and you add in your Runeshades instead. Runeshade is basically a grade 2 11k because of his effect, so you can add those Runeshades in instead. If you want a deck to be a little bit more, it'll be a little bit more expensive, but the deck will be better. But you can play budget. I've had great results with this budget deck. But that is the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile I brought today. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of Granblues, or if you want me to try to build another deck, leave me that as well. I do have I'm working on a Bermuda Triangle build as well, so that should be up soon. But alright guys, thanks for watching. Sorry about the glare, I can kind of see it now, but leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Alright guys, I will see you next time. Peace out.